Good morning and welcome back to NBS Breakfast Meeting. My name is Tracy Ikopit and I'm thrilled to be hosting you this fine Friday morning. Now we're about to get into a conversation about the GRIT Retailer Training Program as well as the fight against illicit alcohol. And joining me to have this conversation is the Head of Corporate Affairs from NAL Breweries Limited. Emmanuel, it's such a pleasure to have you this morning.
It's a pleasure being hosted by you, Tracy.
Absolutely. So please introduce yourself to our audience. Let us know who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay. So my name is Emmanuel Njichi. I serve at NAL Breweries. I mostly take care of corporate affairs. And we're here to have a conversation about what we're doing to contribute to the growth of our economy through training retailers and small business owners, but also the challenges we face. And we think by sharing these challenges, we're actually getting to a point where we find solutions for them.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So let's talk about GRIT.
Yes.
In simple terms, for a layman,
Yes.
how would you describe it?
So this is a program that actually trains bar owners, retailers, stockists, and managers to actually make profitable business. And we call it GRIT. It's an acronym for Growing Retailers Innovatively Together. We started doing this in 2024, and between 2024 and 2025, we trained 1,560 retailers.
Wow.
We're going bigger this year, actually cover that same number in 1 year alone. And the reason we're doing this is because when you look at the stats of the National Bureau of Statistics, the statisticians of the country, they tell you that over 90% of Ugandans are in small and medium enterprise category. Those people employ about 2.5 million Ugandans. Those people contribute about 20% of the country's GDP. So when we do train these retailers, when they are profitable, it's not just them that make money. It's not just us, their partners, that actually grow with them. It is the neighbor that actually gets a job. It is they're able to pay their school fees on time. They're able to stock more. Whatever it is that they use more power, they buy more food, they start a band night, so now the neighborhood band also plays. And so it is that ecosystem that we're trying to develop. We think we are onto something about, and now that's our contribution to the economy. So the reason we're calling it innovatively together is we're actually sharing our learnings, but it's the learnings of people who are been doing this for years to actually pass that knowledge over to the people that are dear to us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you'd be training bar owners.
Yes.
Why is it okay for a brewery to be training bar owners, and what's in it for the ordinary Ugandan?
Okay. So one is that our ecosystem means that our consumers are actually served by our customers, who are the bar owners, who are the stockists. And we want our consumers to have a great time when they actually go to their favorite hangout place. We want them to be served well. So we're training them about customer service. We want the bar owner to actually profit from the business that they're doing. Because, like we said, when they do profit, when they do grow, and stats have shown that they're actually growing this information, this actually is good for everyone. But this is the key insight, that your neighborhood shop that also sells a beer, your favorite hangout, where you go later today on Friday, it's the weekend, many of them have never actually been to business school. No one has looked out for them to train them about running an effective business. And that means that all the time, there are new people opening up businesses, small and medium enterprises, and all the time, many people actually exit that segment. So we think that by doing this, by reaching out to people who are already partnering with, it is going to increase chances of growth, but it's also going to make sure that the economy grows because the people who are the pillars of the economy are growing themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you take us through a training day?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Oh, training days are exciting. We learn as much as we teach, but we basically go through the basics, how to keep your money, how to stock properly so that you don't buy what you don't need, but also you don't get a busy night and you run out of product. How to manage change as an example. And we're partnering with Momo. There, many times when you go to a place to buy something of 4,500 and they will tell you, seen a change. And that sale is lost. And many times they think it's a small thing, but if you're constantly losing sales
Yeah.
because of change, there's a solution already. You can pay with Momo. If you are away from your bar because you're running around and getting things done, how do you track your sales? If all your customers are paying with Momo, which is a digital platform, which has a digital stamp, so you know exactly how many people bought what, when, so reconciliations becomes much easier.
Absolutely.
So you manage losses, you're able to track sales, but also it means that there's a better experience. If you have Wi-Fi at your bar, it's not a beer product, but you see, that's the added advantage, that if you have an additional convenience for your customers who come to your bar, it actually means they stay longer. If you're serving food as well, it means they also have a meal. So we're speaking about that. We're talking about stock taking. We're talking about managing your money. We're talking about lending and managing debt. We're talking about how to be responsible in your community. And that's where the story of illicit alcohol comes in, through responsible trading.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So let's now talk about the illicit alcohol, because I know
Yes.
that you train retailers on
Yes,
that.
yes.
How bad is the situation in Uganda currently?
Oh, the situation is bad. The Euromonitor International did a study, and they've been doing studies 2020, 2024, and recently 2025. And the incidence of illicit alcohol has actually grown from 64% then to 67% now. That's nearly 70%. What that means is that every Ugandan that will go out this evening to drink something, any form of alcohol, 7 of those are going to be drinking something that is potentially poisonous,
Yeah.
that is potentially harmful. It's not standardized, it's not regulated, it doesn't contribute any form of tax either to the local council or through the URA, and it could potentially kill them. So when we speak about, when the World Health Organization has produced a report and has ranked Uganda as one of the highest consumers of alcohol. Now, that is actually concerning. If 70% of that alcohol that is consumed could potentially kill the people who consume it. That's how big the problem is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I have a question.
Yes.
How do you define what illicit alcohol is?
Yeah.
Do traditional brews fall within that category? Yeah.
So this is the broader definition of illicit alcohol. That the producer of this alcohol has no standards at all. No, it doesn't mean that standards don't exist. The National Bureau of Standards has standards for everything,
Yes.
including water, if you're going to produce water for sale. So if there's no standard being adhered to, we define that as illicit. If there's no regulation at all, you don't have a trading license, you don't have a license to produce that kind of brew, that is illicit. If you're not paying any form of taxation, again, so either licensing or through the formal channels. So the reason we use taxation as one of the measures is some of it is smuggled. It's good quality stuff, is formally produced wherever it is, but it is bootleg. It is not conforming to the laws of the country.
Yeah.
Now, the unfortunate but uncomfortable truth is that even local brew is illicit. Now, it doesn't mean that it is as dangerous as the industrial scale spirit, normally spirit-based industrial scale, like I said, spirits that is being produced and is on the market everywhere. But it is. And so our discussions when as we move along with this conversation has been around, if you've decided to produce something to be consumed, that's a beverage, that's like food. Don't you want to have a minimum level of standards, of hygiene, of packaging, of how long it's going to last before you throw it away, so that you have defined that this is not good for consumption anymore?
Yes.
So while our discussion with government and with our consumers and with the retailers who are actually selling this goes around the formalization and adoption of minimum level standards, we believe that there's the highest state of illicit is actually in nearly industrial scale production that does not conform to any of those standards.
Yeah.
Yes.
And naturally, the country has lost a lot of money through illicit
Yes.
alcohol. I think roughly 3 trillion Ugandan shillings. Could you break that down for someone who could be watching from home?
Let me throw some numbers at you. So the formal alcohol producers that you are aware of, now breweries and our friends across the road, and any importer that brings in alcohol, and any other who is in the formal sector, who you will go to the bar tonight and their product is on the shelf. They're not hiding it. All those are only playing in about 33% of the market. But those formal players who are playing in a narrowing segment are contributing nearly 1 trillion shillings, 1 trillion Uganda shillings in taxes every year. Now, this nearly 70% is actually going on. It's trade, it's harmful to the consumer, but there's a lot of money that is being earned through that trade. And when you speak government, and that's just one number that we pulled out, government is losing nearly 3 trillion shillings because of uncollected revenue from that segment. So that's how big it is. So we've spoken about the safety from a consumer's point of view. We've spoken about the loss from government revenue. What we don't talk about many times is that the formal sector actually has a value chain from the farmers. The farmers grow sorghum and barley, they grow cassava and maize. We have aggregators at that point, we have transporters, then we produce, and then you go through the distribution channels to the bar owners, to everyone else that plays in that economy. Now, every time that sector shrinks, all those jobs shrink as well. And yet we have an opportunity. 70% of a market is huge for anyone. So even if it didn't come to the formal players currently in play, it is much safer for the consumer that a formal and regulated competitor actually takes up that space, that government is interested in the revenue it is losing, but also that the consumer is protected, that they're taking something that is not going to harm them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, there are some people like me who
Yes.
don't partake
Yes.
in the drink. So for those of us who don't do that, how does the illicit alcohol affect us?
Why should you care?
Yeah, why should we care?
That's the right question. It is, we do acknowledge that some people should not be drinking alcohol at all. For example, if someone is not 18 years old, they should not be drinking alcohol. If someone is an expectant mother or breastfeeding mother, they should not be consuming alcohol. If someone is taking medication, they should not be taking alcohol.
Yeah.
And so there are also those who are abusing alcohol. We believe that they should not be taking alcohol. Now, but this is why you should care. One, that every time a friend of yours, a relative of yours, goes out to have a drink, there's a possibility that what they drink is actually going to be harmful to them. That should concern you. Every time a non-formal drink is actually sold somewhere else, it means that the standardized one is not being sold. It actually means that your community is losing jobs. It also means, because the informal illicit alcohol does not contribute to national development, because they don't pay any taxes, it means that your road is going to take longer to be made. Your hospital stockouts are going to happen. The teachers may not be paid as competitively as they should because there's no money. Because it's not just that there's no money circulating, it just means that the money is not circulating in the formal ways where it should, so that the community wins, the producers win, the consumer takes something that is verified and standardized, and government has revenue to actually continue in national development programs. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's why you should care.
Makes sense, makes
Yes.
sense. I mean, it affects us in other ways.
In our ways,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. So let's be honest about something.
Yes.
A lot of people opt for illicit alcohol because it is cheaper.
Yes.
So how do we correct that problem without punishing the poor?
We need to have an honest conversation that it is true that Ugandans are very price sensitive. Many times someone is going to choose something that is cheaper, even though it is inferior, because that's what they could afford. That's very true. But we're also aspirational people. I don't want to speak about Ugandans like they. You and I actually aspire for better. We know better. We choose quality. And even better if we can afford it. But when we cannot afford it, we actually opt for the next best alternative, and that's what is happening. And so what we've seen is that we need to have a conversation, and we're having a conversation with government about keeping the formal alcohol sector affordable to compete on price with the informal. What that does, it means that the benefits that I've spoken about job creation across the value chain, about taxation, the tax that is collected from the formal players, and the safety for from something that someone has consumed expands. So it's not something that just the players like us can take on. It is something that needs two other pillars. One of those is government. One, that is some stability, level of stability and predictability about the tax policy, but also the fairness and the long-term thinking that when we sit together and craft a solution that loops in the 70% market that is not making any contribution, everyone wins. But two is the solution about formalization, asking the person who is brewing next door, or who's brewing in their garage, or who's distilling. We had a visit last week. There's an entire village in Makenke that actually distills from molasses. And they need support. They need support to understand what the standards are, and also the first steps of adhering to those standards. Now, we are doing a part of that by training our value chain. We train our farmers. We're training our retailers now, so they understand what is good for them, but also what is good for their consumers. We think that there's opportunity for partnership with government. One, to keep what is formal affordable, so that can compete in the market, but also to start to join us in driving formalization. That way, you have a healthy population that is not losing productivity because of what they're drinking is terrible.
Yeah.
But you're also having the poor, small and medium enterprises that are making a living out of something that can be made better.
Right.
And because the standards are there, we think that's a good starting point
Absolutely.
with the government.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So as we bring this conversation to a close, could you briefly just tell us what success looks like for you,
Yeah.
and then also share a final message to our viewers at home?
All right. So what does success look like for us? One, as far as grit is concerned, we're going to hit 1,500 new retailers, people who are shouldering our economy, but who have never been to formal business training. And for us, that warms our heart.
Right.
That someone who is the core function of your economy is actually learning new information and they're using it. We have gotten new partners and we're happy about that. This year, for 2 years now, we've worked with MTN Momo to actually make sure that they enhance that curriculum, but they also give them solutions that they never had. Because we spoke about
The digital payments.
digital payments
Yeah.
and managing, your
Yeah.
transfer and stock management, and giving extra value at your bar.
Right.
We've onboarded NSSF with their Flex Pay, NSSF Flex Savings. You do not, so you can opt in to save some money for the future. Which means that even if for some reason, so you don't eat all the money, but you actually have something set aside for the next day. And we love that conversation. For success for us means that we train more people. Success for us means that we made ground with government to actually partner in formalizing the sector. And formalization looks like training. Formalization looks like speaking about illicit alcohol. Formalization looks like how many clinics, so how many government people would like to come and attend our trainings in GRIT to talk about standards, such that even though we are speaking to the converted, the ecosystem is quite linked. That now we start a formalization program that we can partake in with government on making sure that we convert those who make illicit and those who sell illicit into people who can give something to the community that is formalized, regulated, standardized, and safe to drink. So that success, it is a high goal, but we have trust that this can be done a step at a time. This is a starting point. When you do host us and we have a conversation about this, we believe that we're reaching more people with this message, and the results come out of such conversations.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for having this conversation. I think we've learned a lot about the actual effects of illicit alcohol, even for those of us who don't partake.
Yes.
It affects all of us.
Yes.
So thank you for, giving us that awareness, and also for everything that you're doing to fight it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And for those who are going to go out and have a drink, please drink responsibly and look out that what you're drinking is actually safe for you and your friends. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for tuning into this interview on NBS Breakfast Meeting. We'll be right back after a short break.